With documenting life, the camera choice doesn't necessarily matter as much as pressing record. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been documenting my life using my phone. Alright guys, so it's been a couple of weeks. I spent a lot of time filming with my phone, and to be honest, this thing has been so freaking good. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, let's roll the updates.
I just know you got, baby. You never felt to keep me satisfied. Keep me satisfied. You got, baby. You never felt to keep me satisfied. Keep me satisfied. Keep me satisfied. Keep me satisfied.
What's up everyone, welcome back to the vlog. For those of you that are new here, I'm JB. I started a vlog in my 30s. I love to document my life and I'm sharing all the things that I learned along the way. As you saw in the intro, today we're going to be talking about filming with your iPhone. This honestly stemmed from me not wanting to carry around my camera all the time, which is typically the ZVE1 these days. I remember just sitting down at a few lunches and dinners at like a restaurant, and it's just so crammed sometimes at the table you're at, and there's just so much food on the table and your camera just takes up a lot of unnecessary space. And sometimes for little moments like that, you might not want to pick up your camera. So I decided to whip out my phone. That was problem number one. Problem number two was that I realized that everything that I record when I vlog is stored on SD cards and eventually on mini hard drives such as this, and I don't really get to see those memories a lot. Not until I decide to edit my footage, and when I want to look back at things, it's not as easily accessible because that's a whole process of having to plug in a hard drive, looking for the footage, blah 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 blah, versus looking at my phone, I'm able to just go through my camera roll and all the memories are there. So I know that a lot of people want to start vlogging, but they don't want to commit to buying a camera, which is why I honestly, after doing this whole thing, I really encourage people to just start filming with your phone, and you're just going to start growing from there already. What we're going to be talking about today are two main things. Number one, the gear that I use throughout the past couple of weeks to document life with my phone. And number two, all of my thoughts, the thought process behind how I film with my phone, when I use my phone, so on and so forth. So for all of you people that love gear, we're going to talk about that first. Let's go. So let's talk about the gear. Before we talk about the gear, I'm just gonna go off rip and say that I overpacked for the past couple of weeks when I was filming with my phone exclusively. And the reason why is because, personally speaking, I didn't really have my go-to setup for filming with my phone like I do when I vlog. For example, right here is my main camera for vlogging, is the ZVE1 with the Sony 16mm f1.8 lens, if you care about all that. And I was able to achieve this setup by testing a whole bunch of different setups. I remember at one point I was rocking the ZVE1 with the 24-50. I was using the 16-25 at one point. I even whipped out the 24-70 for a while, and none of that was really sticking to me as far as what I wanted to have as my vlogging setup. So all that to say, again, I overpacked for filming with my phone, so that way I could figure out what it is that I want to film or how I want to film with my phone. First things first, we have the phone It's the iPhone 17 Pro. You guys probably know a lot about this. So many reviews online, you can go watch those. To pair with my phone, I was using the Moment case, and we'll get to that in a moment. Put that on here. And the main thing that I had with this setup right here was this. It is the quicklock V&D filter, also by Moment. And that way I'm able to have a very minimal setup. So you literally just take this guy, boom, and then you have a V&D here. If you've watched a lot of the other vlogs, or if you watch other gear videos online, you'll already know what a V&D is. Sunglasses for your camera. I don't need to go into more detail about that. But this right here was my minimalist setup. This is what I was using if I just wanted to take my phone out of my pocket and just start filming right away. Other things that I used, I also have different lenses, also from Moment. I have the 18mm wide, the 58 tele, and the 75 macro. I know that on the phone, you have different lenses here. This is like your 24, your 48, also 35, I believe. You have your telephoto lens, so your times 10, times 20, and then you have your wide, which is like, I think a 13mm. And I get that. I understand that I could have just used these lenses, but my thought process was I'm gonna treat these three lenses like a kit lens, because on my actual cameras, I like to also put on different lenses, and that just felt very natural to me to be able to mimic me using my actual camera. So taking this little guy out, for example, and then you just easily line it up, twist, you're good to go. You have a lens on there. There's accessories to be able to put on ND filters, but yeah. Other accessories too, I had this Telesin grip. This lets you, boom, puts a grip on your phone, makes it feel more like a camera. I used this to film a Dodgers game. It was really cool. There's a video of that on my Instagram as well. And then other miscellaneous things, of course, mini tripod, SSD, and everything was stored in this bag. This is the Moment everything 4-liter sling. Very good sling, holds everything I need. So that was the main things that I was using to vlog, but there was also a point where I thought, okay, what if I rig out my phone the same way that I like to rig up my camera? And so in order to achieve that, I have this guy. This is the Moment Super Cage. Don't mind this. This is the latest edition because I was experimenting with filming something really cool that I needed extra power. But long story short, let's take this out. This is what it actually looks like. When I throw my phone on here, it looks like this. You don't need the side handles. Like if I were to just take this off right now, it's still a pretty small package. And this was able to fit in this bag. You might be wondering what this is. This is a monitor. So that way, if I'm like filming like this, for example, I can't really see what's going on my phone. So I needed this monitor to be able to see what I was filming. But yeah, this is all the gear that I was using to film using my phone. So the question now becomes, what was it like filming with your phone? And to be honest, this is going to sound very interesting in my opinion, because I used to have a problem with screen time. I was doom scrolling, just constantly on my phone. But the more I started to vlog with my phone, the more I was present in the moment, and I wasn't picking up my phone as much as I used to. in the sense of just using my phone to like text or to go on Instagram, TikTok, whatever have you. I was really just leaving my phone down. And when I wanted to vlog, I would pick up my phone and just start filming. And the reason why I was doing that was because I knew with filming, my battery would drain a lot faster. And by knowing that, I'm not gonna pick up my phone as much as I normally do. So really, I was just using my phone to document life, and that meant being more present because I wasn't being distracted by social media or messages. So yeah, that was one of the pros that I did not think about happening with filming with my phone, was becoming more present. Another thing that I noticed is when you film with your iPhone and you're coming from something like what we're filming on, which is the A7C2 or like a ZVE1 or whatever camera you have, is these days cameras, when you're in your log setting, you have your base ISOs and you know that your image is going to be the cleanest at those ISOs. So on this camera, this A7C2, that would be 800 and 3200. I just know to set my ISOs to those two levels, set my shutter speed to 1/50 or 180 degrees if you have shutter angle, and then fix my f-stop or my ND filter, and I know I have a clean image. Now, when it comes to your phone, I was filming with the Moment Pro Camera app, as also the Blackmagic app. And with these and filming with your iPhone, you're able to set your shutter angle to 180 degrees. You're able to set your frame rate to whatever you need to, do all these things, set your resolution, your codecs, all that cool stuff. But now what happens is on the iPhone, I found that for me with filming, I was able to get the cleanest images when I had my ISO between 200 and 54. So a very, very low range. There were times, of course, where I would crank up my ISO because it was so dark in a space and I couldn't really do anything. But what I found was the image was still usable and I was still able to recover different things. And I guess that's just how Apple Log 2 works. I don't know all the stuff with log and all the science behind it, but someone in the comments can correct me, whatever. But yeah, anything below 200, I was really good. 400, I was kind of pushing it. There were some times, I think the highest ISO I would ever hit was 1600, but I would always make sure to remove my ND filter whenever I would do something like that, just so I have the least amount of grain as possible. But honestly, all that aside, filming with my phone, I didn't really care too much about all the technicalities and the nuances of base ISOs, clean image. I was really just trying to document my life. And I think that's what was so great about using my phone, is I can easily just take this out of my pocket and I can start vlogging, versus if I have a camera, I have to take it out, and then there's that factor of people getting a bit nervous behind camera, or they don't want to be seen on camera. Of course, it's different from people to people. Like with me, my circle of friends are so used to the camera now that they don't mind. At first, of course, I was always going to their houses or at lunch or dinner, and I would say, are you guys okay with being in a vlog? And yeah, they're all cool with it. And over time, people just become more natural with that. But sometimes when there's new people that are introduced into the mix, they get a little hesitant when they see the camera. But it's interesting because there's so many people vlogging with their phones and they don't really mind it. Like, I can go out and I can do this with my camera, point this at someone, and someone's gonna get nervous and tripped out. But if I were to do the same thing with my phone and just have my phone and I'm like this, no one really cares. So yeah, that was the cool part. This is way less intimidating than this. So yeah, a lot of things learned from filming with my phone. And yeah, I'm going to be using my phone a lot more to vlog. So as we go about these vlogs, I'm gonna have more thoughts on this and I'll share that with you guys. So, final thoughts on filming with my phone over the past couple of weeks. I think this has been one of the greatest things that I have done when it comes to vlogging. It makes things a lot easier. It makes my setup a lot lighter, and that's one less thing that I have to carry. And what do I mean by that? This camera is not going away. I'm still going to be using my ZVE1 or the C2, depending if I need to take pictures or not. And I'm gonna be rocking, more than likely, the 16mm lens. So the question becomes, what happens to all the other focal ranges? Or what happens to, like, how do I balance using this and this? And the answer is very simple. All I have to do is slap on whatever lens that I want on this camera. If I want to use the 16, if I want to rock 24-70, if I want to rock, for whatever reason, 35-100 for vlogging, I can do that. And I am covered at that focal range with this camera. Where my phone comes in is that I'm able to cover any missing focal length that I need. So if I'm filming with this 24 and I want to use my zoom rocker to punch in to say like a 24mm, then I can do that. But what happens if I'm out and about and I see something really cool that I want to film, but I'm just too far? That's where this guy comes in. And I'm just gonna point my phone, shift my ND filter to however I need to, and I'm gonna hit that 4X, that 8X, that 10X, and I'm gonna get the shot. At the end of the day, I know that some people really care about quality, and some people pixel peep and they're just like, oh, this clip is super grainy compared to this clip, it's not as clear. But honestly, who cares? At the end of the day, we're just trying to vlog and show people what we do and what we experience and just share our lives. And hopefully people find inspiration or something cool with that they want to go out and do something cool with their lives as well. And if I'm able to do that with my phone and my camera paired together, then I'm gonna keep doing that. And if someone comes at me saying, this looks so bad and so grainy when I mix it in with this footage, then go for it. But it's interesting because I posted a weekly vlog that was filmed with both this and this on my Instagram, and people couldn't even tell the difference. So it's just a matter of how you use your tools. You don't always need to go out and buy the latest and greatest. You can literally use what's in your pocket. But if you have a camera, of course, use it. I said it in one of my videos on Instagram, but you already spent money on the camera, you might as well put it to use. So yeah, that's how I plan on using these two cameras together. So when it comes to vlogging, I guess the last note is you just have to experiment with what you have in order to get the setup that you need to vlog. I'll be vlogging and I'll be thinking, oh, maybe it'll be easier if I have a mini tripod with me, which is why I went out and bought this mini tripod for my phone. Little things like that. You don't need to go out and buy a new lens. Sometimes all you need is like an ND filter or something as little as a cable to charge your phone. But anyways, guys, again, I hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you found something cool within this. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.